Good morning, everyone, or good evening, depending on what time you're watching this. Today's video, we're going to be talking about server choice, mixed versus RP. Everything about them, everything we know, we're going to be discussing right here on this video. Also, no intro today. I'm going to get straight into it, no messing around. First of all, you need to choose which server you want. You'll only be given this towards sort of the end of the season, after about 2-3 months in. It was about 2 weeks ago we got given this option for me. So it was about September, month and a half, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. We got given this option. The season seems to last around about 8 to 10 weeks. So you'll get this option then. You'll just have to click up here, this button right here on the right. This will then present you with this screen where it's giving you a bit of information about each server, and that's what we're going to be talking about in a bit more detail. So first thing first, we've now been given information about this new ring tech. This is the Season 2, so this is all about the Season 2 mixed server with this is the new ring tech Persuasion. So if you didn't know about the Season 2, the difference between the two, roleplay is simply where you're stuck either good or evil. You can only use good commanders or good units if you pick good. If you're in the mixed, then it doesn't matter if you're good or evil faction, you can choose good or evil alignment commanders. You can unlock either of them. Okay, so what we're talking about here, Persuasion, this is the first, we've only been given this information today, so there's brand new information. This is the new tree, what it'll look like. Okay, so you've got Persuasion, number of opposing alignment commanders you're able to control. So I'm guessing that, say you get your first point and you get 1, all the way up to 10 points, so 10 commanders of the opposite alignment from the faction you've chosen you'll be able to get. There's also other things in here, and we'll switch back to here. You can build embassies, which lets you build camps for units from the opposite alignment outside of your base. So this has now been said, can build an embassy for the opposing alignment, and I believe we can see here, the embassy for the opposing faction is building located within your settlement. This isn't required to be built outside of your settlement anymore. I'm not sure if they've changed what they're doing or it's not clear on this original screenshot. This originally outside for units opposing action outside of your base. So it seems like it confused things. Embassies are going to be for the opposing faction is building located within your settlement. Okay, however, you can now put in barracks outside of the settlement on the map. They will so they can get destroyed, so you need to guard them and stuff, but this will give you access to opposing faction units. So I'm guessing if you're started as Angmar, you make your way to LOTR, you can then put a barracks down and you can get elven units. So they're bow knights, they're heralds, they're sentinels. Okay, this is what we're assuming. We've not seen this yet, but yeah, that's what it's going to be pretty much. You're going to be putting barracks in their map, and then you'll be able to recruit their units. Same with good to evil, going to the orcs, getting the orcs, etc., etc. So exciting one on that one. I think that's pretty interesting. Will be interesting to see how those tactics and how people mix between the two on that one. Keep moving through. You can change the alignment of the tips that appear in the tavern. So again, this is where you can now access any of them, any faction units, any faction tips. So you can get the respect for the commanders that you want, either good or evil. To me, this is a downside of using like the mixed server, because you're going to be given double the commanders to work with. This means all of it's shared. So your tips now are going to be across two different lots. I know you can focus on one, however, you probably do want to do a bit of both, depending who you're after and who you're trying to build at the time. The best commanders, if all of a sudden one gets rebuffed, it might change how you play it. So yeah, really interesting there. But you can change tavern tips to get either server or either alignment. Math and chess for command of the opposite alignment. This is an interesting one. I'm looking forward to seeing how it deals with the booster ones, where you do 100 chests and you get loads of respect items. I think you're able to do that for the good and evil side to get lows and lows. So really, really big bonus for a pay to win kind of guy. Or you might get forced to choose one or the other. But it'd be interesting there. So you can choose which one you want to go and get. So more choice and better way of being able to get the best thing. If it is only one though, it'd be a real shame because then you're forced into choosing one of the really good commanders to pick. Can change faction from good to evil and vice versa. This means at the moment in roleplay, you are unable to go from good to evil or evil to good. In mixed, you can choose whoever you want before the certain cutoff in the season when it stops you changing. You can do whatever you want, change from good to evil to good during that season, which is awesome. Additional things to sort of mention. Everyone knows this already, but you will be keeping all your equipment, all your commanders and cross-season items from Season 1. So this will be gems as well, any items you've got, but not the ones with a little circle, little sort of timer in the top right of the item. They'll be disbanded, they'll be destroyed between the two seasons. You'll be able to keep unique equipment, which is obvious, equipment's kept. All new commanders, equipment, neutral camps. So there's going to be new commanders, equipment, and neutral camps for both. If you haven't seen the latest videos on the new commanders, have a look around. There's plenty of YouTube videos. I've not done them yet. I feel like I want to see them first, learn about them, and give spotlights on them then. And then you'll get new season goals to work towards. The last thing to sort of say about on this before you start entering, because all of you have read all this already, so I'm trying to just get through this as quick as possible. Accounts. So this we'll talk about here, a really important bit about choice. So which one you choose and what will happen. If you enter the roleplay server, if you are in the same faction in Season 1, you'll definitely end up in Season 2 together. However, this means if you're trying to make parties with people that are in different factions right now, there's probably a high chance that you will never see them again. So I'm trying to, like all of the guys from Linden, are trying to choose dwarves, Erebor. I don't want to choose that. Okay, so I'm making parties with other people to try and get into Loth or Gondor or Rohan. And I'm not going to get those groups. I'm forced with the Linden team that I don't want to play Erebor. So I'm going to have to make completely new friends, which is a shame probably. And hopefully I do get lucky to pair with some of the people we've met in Season 1 from a different faction. But chances are you will not. So if, for example, if you want to... It's just a gamble. It is a gamble. If you do, however, want to play with them, and it's a really, really important thing for you, then choose the mix. Okay? If you choose mix, then everyone from your season will combine into the next season together. So really, really interesting there. Might be one of the biggest reasons you choose mixed or role play. Let me just say, though, it is Season 1. Okay, you will make new friends, a load of learnings from the first season. Honestly, choose what you want to choose. Don't be persuaded by sort of your faction and your sort of friends you've made this time. I'm sure there'll be a chance to make new friends in the next season, so don't worry too much. So let's run over what was said. What's this new information that's come out as well? We've got new in the this is just be key. This is for mixed servers only, not RP. We've got a new sort of tech tree on the ability power, on the ring power. We've got persuasion, like what I said before, up to sort of 10 commanders there. You can build an embassy, as we mentioned already. We've got a new thing though called morale. Okay, so you can see here in this example, new stat is morale. So the compatibility between commanders and units may cause morale problems that impact your army's performance. What this means is if you're using a good commander and start to use evil units with them, then that will impact the damage or the defense, whatever that is. There's a new stat called morale, and that means it will cause some kind of negative effect. Okay, so King of the Dead is a good commander. He's using Ravager there, and actually that's causing a problem, and it will mean bad things. So it'll be interesting to see how bad it impacts it. However, yeah, it's going to be a big stat that sort of impacts how that sort of how like people's strategies on PvP, PvE, and stuff like that. So interesting of how that works out. Going back to this, then we've also got logistics. So hiring time required. I'm guessing from those neutral camps. We've got morale of units, lessens units damage reduction caused by lower morale. So looks there, lessens units damage reduction caused by lower morale. So lower morale, I'm guessing, means you get a damage increase. Lessens units damage reduction caused by lowered morale. So the damage reduction they carry out, so you will do less attack damage. So that reduction will be reduced, like lower. You'll get a higher attack when you've got low morale. Now I'm not sure how much this will disappear completely, but morale, that new thing, is something to take into account for if you want to choose RP or mixed server. And here, time required for construction of field barracks. So I think we've covered most of this in detail. What I think this shouts to me though on here is this game was originally designed, to be clear, this was originally designed, okay, to be mixed, okay? Will this mean a lack of sort of content for RP? I am worried about. I'm going to go roleplay. I am, however, worried that there's going to be a lack of content designed and planned for roleplay because the game was not originally designed. Now, there's a poll on Reddit I've seen, though, that 75% of people are going to go roleplay. So I quickly hope they adjust their content stream, their plans, to be able to completely use roleplay, as that will be the majority of their income. So I want to see them adjust to that. I want them to see them giving lots of new content for the roleplay and how that works together. But they originally designed the game to be mixed, so I'm interested to see how that plans out. So again, to emphasize, you will not be in the same server as other factions in your current season. So that's a really key point on what you're going to choose possibly. However, you will definitely be in the same server as your faction as long as you choose roleplay together or mix together. You will end up together 100%. Will the choice be forever? We're not quite sure. It'd be weird though to go from mixed to roleplay because you've lost all of your extra stuff that you've been spending on the other alignment. However, because the game is designed for mixed, I do possibly think that roleplay people will be given the option again for season 3 of going to mix. That's my thought. That's not guaranteed. That is what I believe will happen. We will try to be forced towards mix. Since we've been given the option, I think the option will be there again to if you want to transfer to mixed. More army combinations on mixed. Now, yes, it will. However, this is my biggest worry of mixed. The biggest point I want to make on this video is that I think this is bad. I've put good on here, more army combinations. That's great. But it leads into, I think, less strategy. If you're Linden on a mixed server and you want to march across that map and take on whoever, okay, let's say you destroy Isengard and Angmar and you make your way over to Loth and Gondor and Rohan. You want to know what you are facing, okay? You want to know what you're about to come up against. The worry is for me is you're going to end up all of a sudden fighting random commanders from different alignments. You're going to be fighting weird units that you're not expecting. And what it means is some strategy element of the game disappears. It's already very random and very hard to counter armies. Okay, so if you're coming up against a Witch King already, it's already hard to counter that. Now, if you build fully around fighting a Witch King because you're coming against evil, and they throw let's say a Gandalf the White at you, or something crazy like that. So Aragorn, King of Men tier 3, it's got heals, damage, everything. you're just thrown off guard. And then he's got evil units with him, and he's got this and that. I think it takes away a lot of strategy and planning and thinking. It takes away that and puts more random at it. Yeah, random. Am I gonna go against someone I'm good against? Well, maybe, I don't know. Or I'm going to be using cavalry. Well, if they start walking over with Angmo or tier 4 Fallens, I'm going to be pissed, to say the least. So I think it takes away some of the strategy, which is a shame. I don't like it. I'm going to go roleplay. I like the strategy element. I like going up against Rohan or Gondor, knowing what you're going against and seeing what you can do against cavalry. Stuff like that. Melee, you're thinking you're going to go against more melee units, take a commander build that does something against that. That is my personal choice, but it's something to take into account. It is going to be very, very stressful, I think, fighting something like Mordor and then getting Aragorn charging at you. You're like, what are you doing on their team? You're not meant to be there. You're not meant to be fighting for Mordor. You're meant to be fighting against Mordor. Last point, it's sort of key what I'm sort of saying. It feels wrong for me to go to mixed. However, I'm sure it's very right for everyone else. This is an information video between the two, combining, sort of comparing the two of mixed versus roleplay, and hopefully this gives you all the information you need. We've discussed it all. Hopefully it helps you to choose. I'm going to be choosing roleplay and possibly making a going to account on a second server to play mixed to see how that works and to be able to create content from it. I want to create content for you, so we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, biggest worry for me on the roleplay is a lack of content they may have prepared. The biggest thing on mixed as a downside, I believe, is that it's going to be less strategic on what to expect. Well, hopefully that's a nice little summary. Hopefully it's not too long and you'll listen to this. And yeah, we'll check you out in the next video. Catch you later.